Oh, hi. Hello there, everybody. Hello, chat. How are we this fine Wednesday evening? Are you John Cena? What's happening right now? We're all baffled, confused, and yet kind of allured and intrigued.
Yes, because you can see no comedy. No.
Right.
Continue.
Continue, yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Chatting with Doug, in which you get to ask the questions that you've always wanted to ask Doug. And we'll just chat and answer them and hang out here. But before we get to that, we're going to have to go over the rules here so that we can all just have a good and wonderful time. First and foremost, we give priority to the bit messages and super chats, since that is some real world money spent. Towards the end of stream, sometimes we have time to go back and look at chat questions or highlighted questions over on Twitch. But you probably want to save those for the end of stream, because I can't scroll back up and check them out now. So save it for the end of stream. Okay. Please do not repeat yourself over and over again in chat. You can get timed out or even banned if you're going to continuously do it. On the YouTube side of things, specifically, you don't need to repeat any super chats. I mean, I guess same with Twitch. You don't need to repeat any bits. But I know on, sorry, wow, brain can function, I swear. I know sometimes on YouTube, people panic because they see it unpinned from the top of chat. I still have a list, and it is very, very rare that we actually miss a chat. You don't need to repeat it. Please just have some patience. We can get up to an hour behind sometimes. We've been live for like almost 10 minutes here and haven't even started answering questions. And you can already see the volume of questions that we've gotten. So just have some patience. We will get to it. Along the same lines with YouTube, we prioritize super chats that are $5 and over. Of course, we appreciate any amount of support, but we do have a large volume of questions. So this is just one way for us to be able to get through the paid questions so that we can actually get to the regular chat questions as well. Please keep your questions and comments short and to the point. The longer it is, the faster I have to read it, the more likely it is that I'm going to lose the point, and we don't have time to repeat it. That does also include parts. If you absolutely must break up your message into multiple parts, keep it to 3, absolute maximum. Again, we just tend to lose the point if all of a sudden you're on part 7 and we don't remember what happened in part 4, and it's just a whole thing and we don't have time to figure out what's going on there. Please, no spoilers. I have not had a chance to watch Daredevil in weeks, okay? Don't spoil things for people. People is me. I am people.
I've only gotten halfway through the first episode of the new Last of Us, so don't spoil that yet either. And I played the game. I know what happens in it, but they do stuff different sometimes. So I already see they're starting stuff different, so don't do that.
That's true. I feel like I'm missing something, but I also don't know quite what. Well, no swearing.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah. Right.
No swearing. But I think
we good.
I think that's it.
I think we're fine.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. What are your thoughts on the Harold Lloyd film Safety Last?
I gotta look at so with a lot of silent films, it's big surprise. If I see it, I recognize it, but if I hear the title, okay, that's the clock one. I obviously I remember that. I remember the stunts in it. I don't remember like what led up to it. You know what I mean? But like with a lot of Buster Keaton, I don't. Actually, that is something I feel like Chaplin maybe got a little better. Charlie Chaplin is that I do remember what led up to a lot of those scenes. I remember the setups more, but I liked the attitude and the stunts more in Buster Keaton. So no, but I remember really liking it.
Future movie actor, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is part 1 of 2 Last Airbender movie comic tie-ins that were actually pretty good. One adapted the movie, including the cut Kyoshi Warrior scenes and the ...
Be continued.
To be continued, for sure. Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Hi, Heather and Doug. Did you two get a chance to see the first couple episodes of Shinichiro Watanabe's new series, Lazarus? Episode 1 does feel very similar to Cowboy Bebop, straight down to the same lead archetypes and use of action and jazz music, but as episode 2 establishes the story and motivation a lot better, think of the series as Cowboy Bebop meets John Wick.
Not yet. Somebody told, what's it on again?
It's on Max. I actually checked
on
it out.
Max.
It is on
Okay.
Max. It is
I'll
on
write
Max.
that down because I do really like. Well, they're advertising everywhere at C2E2. I saw a lot of people wearing merch for that too, so I do really want to see that. No, I have not seen it yet.
Mm-hmm. Swift, thank you for the €5 super chat. Have you ever considered reviewing Don Bluth's Thumbelina? I feel it's an overlooked Bluth gem with the style, tone, and how it fits in his filmography.
You're not gonna like my review. I didn't get into it. I thought it was a little too random. It's still drawn nice. Most anything Bluth is gonna look really good, but yeah, I don't remember really getting into it. Maybe if I'm gonna do one, I probably do Titan AE because that was him really trying something different. The story behind the production is really interesting too. So because he was brought in. It was his studio, but he wasn't going to direct it. He was brought in at the last minute. So all of that's really interesting. But Thumbelina, as of now, I don't have much interest in.
Matt, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are some of your favorite Mario Kart stages?
It's rough because I don't like more recent Mario Kart. I only play when I stream. And I guess those are the ones that are most like in my memory right now. So I kind of remember any of like the It's funny. In the earlier games, I didn't like the Bowser Castle ones. Now those are the ones I really, really like. And actually, I do like a lot of the later Rainbow Road levels. I think those are really imaginative, and I like how much you fly around with them. I like how visually interesting they make them. Those are the ones that pop out to me.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts on Firefly? I've been wondering if I should check it out. If you haven't seen it, what are your thoughts on Joss Whedon? He's a guy whose work I enjoy, but wish I loved.
I've seen a handful of Joss Whedon, probably not his best stuff, including Firefly. I have not seen that.
Firefly.
I know everybody says they love it. Yeah, everyone says it's fantastic. I actually had no interest in, I shouldn't say no, but I had little interest in checking out Buffy the Vampire Slayer until I saw Cosmo Variety Hour talk about an episode. I think it's called like The Body. And that was just his review of it was so gripping and fascinating that I said, okay, I think I do have to check this show out. So, but what I've seen, I guess like anyone else, there's good stuff and bad stuff, and doesn't look like he's had anything good for a while. But I wonder why. But yeah, I remember there being some good stuff. But again, I don't think I've seen the best.
Future movie actor, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is continuing, part 2 of 2. Other retold Zuko's backstory as well. Both showed missed potential of project. Half hour, including Suki and Kyoshi's cut for 3D conversion.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know, it might be interesting to look at, but I also feel like, just watch the animated series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will say, comic books are kind of a different style. I feel like you can get away with, in movies you have to write a lot more, in shows you have to write a lot more. In comics, you can kind of just say in a little block what's going on, or the dialogue has to be, everybody gets if the dialogue is shorter and tighter in a comic, because you don't want, otherwise just read a book. So maybe it will work better the more I think about it. You might have a point.
I know a guy. Thank you for the 14-month membership over on YouTube. Welcome back. Appreciate that. Do you think you'll ever review the good Mission Impossible movies in honor of The Final Reckoning releasing on May 23rd?
Maybe. So I was thinking about doing the more and more I talk about doing these compilations, of all the Mission Impossible movies, like in one video kind of thing, I'm like, good Lord, there's 8 movies? I'm like, the more I think about it, I'm like, that's going to be really tricky. I don't know. I like to, maybe, splitting them up makes sense. Probably not. I could just see the second part getting, nobody watching it. So I don't know. I'd like to. I don't know how I would do it yet.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the DuckTales reboot, what do you think of Bradford Buzzard? Do you think he was a good villain?
That's the guy who shows up at the on Bradford
I
Buzzards.
don't know who
Great
that is, but
name.
I love that name.
It is a great. Yeah, that's the guy. I mean, he already said here, so he kind of becomes a bigger villain at the end. Yeah, I don't think he was planned and as to be like one of the big villains, and that kind of shows. But they worked in well enough. They give him like a good enough backstory and everything, so I dug it.
Dolphin Crescent, thank you for the $5 super chat. You forgot the Breaking Dawn Part 2 laugh in the scream scene.
Laugh in the screams. Oh, what like in the Craven review?
Maybe.
I'm not sure I follow it, but sorry.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. What are your thoughts on the Humphrey Bogart film, The Canine Mutiny? Or The Cane Mutiny, whoops.
It's nowhere near as good as the Canine Mutiny. I've never seen it. I don't even think I know that one. I should check it out.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you guys still do your movies everyone disagrees with you on panels? Personally, I love unpopular movies like Babe, Pig in the City, Beau Was Afraid, and Inherent Vice, while I was not really a fan of the much-beloved Mickey 17.
Yeah, we just had a C2E2 as a full house. Yeah, they had to turn people away from the panel too. So yeah, thanks everyone that showed up. It's like a Sunday panel too. I was really shocked it filled up the room. But yeah, no, we still do it. We have a great time, and yeah, thanks everybody for showing up to that.
WC, thank you for the $5 super chat. Remember saying you wanted a genre for purposefully bad filmmaking in the Pinocchio review? Gilbert Godfrey as the Queen of Hearts. Eh?
Off with its head! Yeah, I could kind of see that.
Headshot, thank you for the $5 super chat. What do you like the most about the Batman Arkham series, like in terms of design, lore, gameplay, story, etc.?
Gotham City. That. So my favorite's probably still Batman 89, but that's like a close second. Like it's just the fact that you can, rummage around and go anywhere you want there, and they make it so big, such a great open world. Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing. But I mean, as you know, plenty of other things like a great story, great acting, all that too. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
That Disney nerd, thank you for the $5 super chat. Good evening, Duggan the Hunter. Hunter, are you? I mean, are you a hunter? I mean, how are you? Forgive me, I forgot you were a hunter.
Good.
Sapphiros, thank you for the $10 super chat. A mega question to Heather. With Pokemon Legends ZA coming later this year, what's your favorite mega evolved Pokemon? Mine's Lucario, which is your all-time fave. That's awesome. I mean, I feel like it's cheating to say Rayquaza. Because Mega Rayquaza is like OP, but maybe Gengar? Yeah, Gengar.
I hear Gengar. I think of the little saying that Wicked said in the Ewoks cartoon. I just go, Gengar! Like that. I'm like, oh, it's a Pokemon now. Neat. I'm over 40.
Trip, thank you for the $5 super chat. Favorite Warner sibling?
Wacko. I like the wild card.
Jimmy, thank you for the $5 super chat. You know how Magneto can't stay away. What? Sorry. You know how Magneto can't stay a World War II survivor because he should be dead from age? Have him be a victim of later atrocities. There's a lot to choose from.
I mean, that's the nice thing about comic books, isn't it? You can always, yes, he survived, but then he created some sort of serum to keep him alive longer to fight for the cause, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's always ways around that.
Magic Window, thank you for the $5 super chat. Is the Garbage Pail Kids movie still your most hated film? What would it take for it to be dethroned?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Garbage Pail is still it. I think part of it too is that it's a kids movie, and it's such an ugly, mean, dumb kids movie. I usually don't mind mean, dark kids movies, if they're smart, but this was just so dumb and had no purpose to exist. It didn't even get across its message very well, which was such a simple message. Yeah, that's still the one. But something like Cat in the Hat comes close for similar reasons.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. What are your thoughts on The Misfits? It was both Clark Gable and Marilyn Monroe's last movie.
Thought you meant the band for a second. That's another one I don't think I've seen.
Noff Noff, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hello, Doug and Heather. I bet everyone was craving you to tear The Hunter apart for this review.
That would be my assumption as well. Yes.
The Mass Nerd, thank you for the $2 super chat. Headshot, thank you for the $5 super chat. Follow-up question, name your top 3 favorite moments from the Batman Arkham series.
Oh boy. When the Batmobile blew up. No. Boy, let me think. It's rough. They're all just kind of blending together. I don't know. See, I'm trying to remember ones that were even like from what games and everything. Why am I trying to blank with this?
That's okay.
It's so weird. There's like, when you think of something over and over, it's like, oh yeah, that was cool, that was awesome. And then when you ask point blank, it's like a blank. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. Like I'm weirdly not thinking of anything. No, you know what? The last chunk of Arkham Knight, maybe because it's fresh in my head, but even when I did look up what happens when you 100% it, and that I thought was kind of weak, but everything kind of before that I thought was very clever and very well handled. I think just the idea of how do you work in the Joker after, spoiler in the second game, after that happens, how do you work him into that game and still make him menacing and still make him funny and in some ways even more menacing in a strange way. I thought that was such a smart move.
Crunch Along, thank you for the $5 super chat. Since Mike Flanagan has a new movie coming out this year, can we please get a Nostalgia Ween for Oculus?
I don't know how much I can add in an NC review. It is very good. I mean, I love that movie. I've talked about it before on like, I think Nostalgia Ween, like underrated classics or something like that, or new classics. It's something like that. And I do talk about it there, but I don't know. I don't think I can add too much to it in NC review. So probably, I feel like I got my thoughts out in that short little snippet.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. And Shrek, we know Donkey is already acquainted with Pinocchio. In the original Pinocchio novel, Lampwick is transformed into a talking donkey and sold to a farmer and his wife who horribly mistreat him, similar to what we know of Donkey's backstory. Is Donkey actually Lampwick? Highly unlikely, but still an interesting theory.
I didn't even, you're right, because that's a whole big part of Pinocchio, isn't it? Kids can turn into donkeys. So it's like, maybe there's a connection there. I never thought about that.
Biddledy Bip, thank you for the £5 super chat. Hey, Doug and Heather, just wondering, what are your favorite bands or solo acts?
Man, I actually do like Pink Floyd quite a bit. But the bands I grew up with, that I'm always gonna have a soft spot for, I should say. Metallica, I love. Rob Zombie, I really got into. Rammstein is wonderful. It's funny. I like Smashing Pumpkins, but I did find when I revisited them again, I still like the music. I don't know if I like Billy Corgan's voice, and I'm like, oh no! Like it's what everybody always say. Like, yeah, it's just very whiny and nasally, and oh, shut up, man, you don't get it. And I heard it as after turning 40 and went, uh-oh. I think I agree with this, but I still love them.
I grew up with, in my teens, with a lot of emo music, so I love, like, Evanescence, Yellowcard, Paramore. Right now, I'm on a big Billie Eilish and Sabrina Carpenter kick. They're both great artists. Ultimate Frozen Fan, thank you for the $10 super chat. After Kids Guide to the Internet, I've got something for you called Net Smarts, with a Z. It featured the colorful characters Nettie, Webster, and Clicky the Robot teaching us kids about internet safety in the early 2000s. Timing!
Okay, I'll probably check it out. I doubt I'll make a video on it because Kids Guide, I had a feeling Kids Guide wouldn't do that great, but I just had to try. It was one of those where, this is for me, you know what I mean? I just so wanted to talk about it.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. With director Eli Craig's new film Clown in the Cornfield coming out soon, I was wondering, what did you think of his other film Tucker and Dale versus Evil and Little Evil?
I don't think I saw Little Evil, but I did see Tucker and Dale. Actually, I just saw it again this past year. A friend of ours didn't see it, so we showed it to her, and I really liked it. It was even better the second time. I think I had one or two issues the first time. Just with the third act, I thought the third act was a little Dudley Do Right, but yeah, I still really liked it. Just what a great concept. That's such a phenomenal setup, and you think it would only last for like whatever an SNL sketch, but they're so smart to work it into actually a very clever three-act structure.
Matt, thank you for the $5 super chat. If you ever get tired of dealing with the Batmobile, you should take a break for 1 week and stream a visual novel. I recommend Class of '09 or DDLC, which I'm assuming is Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, I hear the latter especially is very, very relaxed. It's just very romantic.
Yeah, it's just a cute little dating sim.
Yeah.
Jimmy, thank you for the $5 super chat. You can only keep one sequel: Terminator 2, Dark Knight, or Empire Strikes Back. Which one you picking?
Hmm. I mean, I think it just had to be a personal thing for me, and I probably say Dark Knight. That's the one I probably have the most fun watching over and over. But again, is that the best? I don't know if I can say that, but it's my personal fave out of those.
Future movie actor, thank you for the $5 super chat. With the Craven NC out today, plans to cover the Darkman movies someday. Sequels aren't perfect, but still definitely watchable, though.
Yeah, I've never seen the sequels. I should probably check them out. I love the first one. First one's a ton of fun. I always have it on the list. I haven't gotten to it yet, but at some point I will.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts on Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window? For me, it's one of the films where I love the first two-thirds and then find the big resolution incredibly underwhelming. I found the villain reveal way too safe and too easy a choice, but that might just be me.
I like it. It is one of those movies where it was ruined a little bit because E.T. was the same way for me, because I've seen so many parodies before I saw the actual movie. And the funny thing is all the parodies have it where it's never what the guy thinks it is. It's always something else, whoever's looking through the binoculars there. So that was the one legit surprise in the movie. I'm like, oh, he did do it. It's like I always thought it was gonna have like a big comedic ending, and now I'm like, nah, Hitchcock probably wouldn't do that. Well, sometimes he does.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the Tangled show, what do you think of the villain Zahn Tiri?
Let me look that character up. Hold on. Tangled. Spell the name?
ZHAN space TI.
There it is. Tiri.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like the main baddie. Good. It kind of just went the route you think it's gonna go, which is fine. It's not bad. With the surprises that they had, especially in between the final season and the second to last season, I was expecting a little bit more out of it, but it's good. It's well done.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Hi, Doug and Heather. This question is for both of you. Is there a show that you love but thought had a weak start? For me, some of my favorite shows like BoJack, Rick and Morty, and Venture Bros, I'll admit, I don't think have the great first seasons.
What? Yeah, I think you named them.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I would do. Clone
Terrible
Wars.
first season, but I mean, it's not terrible. But
I was gonna say I didn't think it was terrible. But I saw what people were talking about. I disliked the first season of Rebels probably more than I disliked the first season of Clone Wars. But Rebels also got better quicker than Clone Wars. The first two seasons of Clone Wars are pretty bumpy. But yeah, so there you go.
Wizard of What, thank you for the $10 super chat. Have you ever seen the 80s Narnia series made by the BBC? They adapted 4 of the books, including Silver Chair. The lady who plays the White Witch is so hammy, she gives Charlton Heston a run for his money.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I remember well, that's always the one where when they said they were gonna make, that Disney was gonna make a movie, I was still kind of thinking how, because in terms of live action, what I just always thought of, the beavers in those giant goofy costumes walking around, and just thinking like, well, I don't know how they gonna make this work and look good, but they actually did a pretty good job.
Kevin, thank you for the $2 super chat. Kevin, thank you for the $5 super chat. In Legend, innocence is claimed to be one bait that never fails. What do you think?
Innocence? One bait that never fails. I gotta remember the context. It's funny, I don't remember much happening in that movie, but I legit do not remember what that is. And even then, it's like innocence, like you're not guilty, or innocence, like the purity of a soul, or something like that. So yeah, I can't remember what it was. It's probably the purity thing, and maybe that's it. People always want to save the purity, the soul of something. So maybe there's something there, if that's what it's talking about.
Adriana, thank you for the $10 super chat. Have you ever thought of reviewing the documentary 6 Days to Air about the making of South Park?
A review? I don't know if I do a review. I mean, I remember liking it. I thought it was a great way to show, what they go through, and what a great episode to do that for, also. But yeah, I don't think I have much to say. It kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Levi, thank you for the $5 super chat. Sonic 3 came to physical yesterday, and I'm upset they didn't bundle the Knuckles show. It would have returned the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles meme.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. Maybe they're just waiting to release it on, its own Blu-ray. Hopefully, again, I'm a big fan of physical media. I hope more and more people are becoming a fan again. We'll have to see.
The Mass Nerd, thank you for the $5 super chat. Can you two translate this for me? I'm not gonna say it because I don't know what it means.
It's a
there's
trap!
a lot of it's gotta be a trap. There's a lot of apps that you can use to translate that for you. Great. Kevin, thank you for the $5 super chat. My favorite part of the Hell of a Boss song, Mastermind, is the climax where Satan interrupts. I suppose I'm one of those who likes a good baritone.
Me too. I'm a total sucker for a good baritone. Just a deep voice with good bass to it and treble and everything. It's just like, yeah, I'm with you. I love it.
Dolphin Crescent, thank you for the $10 super chat. Doug, there's a character in Thomas the Tank Engine also named Douglas. Oh, excuse me. He's Scottish. Watch the George Carlin dub of Donald and Douglas to find out. Spite Dougie, will ya?
It's funny because I just assumed it was a bad show, and everyone said it's actually not only good, but it's like really good. It's got like a really laid back, kind of like Zen like, quality to it. I was just like, I never would have assumed that. So one of these days, I mean, years from now, it had to be after I'm like done with all this and I caught up on whatever Dragon Ball and One Piece and all these other shows I want to see. Maybe I'll put that on, but again, it's gonna be a hot minute.
Rich, thank you for the $5 super chat. Great review today, Doug. When you watch a movie just for fun, are you able to turn your critic hat off, so to speak?
You don't know. Truly. But I was like that even before I became a critic. We just like talking about movies, but we like having fun with it too. Both Rob and I, we always really, really enjoy that. So it's not as much as like, oh, we became this way because we became critics. No, this is just always what we were doing. We see movies as art. Art is about understanding life. So why not discuss that? Why not talk about what works, what connects with us, what doesn't connect with us? But at the same time, I see something really bad, like So Bad Is Funny. We have a good laugh with that too. And we'll also analyze why that works or doesn't work.
Jacob, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, Doug, if a producer offered you the chance to write and direct a segment for an anthology horror film, full creative control for the segment and a reasonable budget, would you be interested?
Yeah. I say this, though. I don't really... it's always one of those things where, we can have fantasies about like what we imagine a film would be or what I would do if I was in control of, whatever film or show or anything like that. But I mean, I've directed like 4 or 5 little, internet movies, and that's really not the same as like, going to Hollywood, having like, a really huge team around you and everything. So I would have to get some more practice for that. But no, I always love anthology movies. Creepshow is still, like, in my opinion, is still like the best Stephen King movie. I know it's kind of a hot take, but I love the hell out of it. There's nothing else like it.
Kevin, thank you for the $5 super chat. Yesterday's freeze was a sign. Heather deserves to be the host and in charge of Channel Awesome. Who will join me? I don't want it. Doug can have it. No.
No. You take it. It's fine. I'm done. I'm sick this week. You can take it. Just give it back at the end of the week. Just make sure it's full of gas.
Ben, thank you for the $5 super chat. Universal announced a live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon 2 at CinemaCon. You can guess how I feel about that.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if somehow this remake was really good? I just can't see how. But how hilarious would that be? I think it's pretty. I mean, I guess worst case scenario, they can just drop it if this movie does really, really bad. It's not like you haven't seen that happen before. But in fact, I'm kind of wondering that now. I wonder if they just announced these movies. Maybe they really are starting to get stuff set up, but they're doing it just to create hype for the movie that hasn't even come out yet. You got to wonder.
Trip, thank you for the $5 super chat. Do you like Family Guy?
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. I remember liking it pretty early on. I can't remember what season I got up to. Maybe like 6, 7, something like that, and I started to drop off after that. But yeah, but I remember enjoying it.
AOTV, thank you for the $5 super chat. Do you think you'll review a show called The X's? One of the villains was a character called Sasquatch, voiced by Randy Savage.
EXES?
No, it was just the letter X apostrophe S.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know this show. Animation style looks kind of fun. Some of the designs are funny. Yeah, I've never seen it. Maybe I'll try to check it out at some point.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. What are your thoughts on the Orson Welles film The Trial, starring Anthony Perkins?
I haven't seen that one. I want to see. I'm horrible to say. I'm very behind on a lot of Orson Welles stuff. I did see Chimes at Midnight. That's the one I really wanted to see. Yeah, I mean, I've seen big ones like Touch of Evil, and obviously Citizen Kane is one of my favorite movies. And the Magnificent Ambersons, the chopped version. That's all we got. But yeah, I'm behind on a lot of them, and I do want to see. I should catch up on them because obviously I really do like his stuff.
Strider for Life, thank you for the 500 bits. Well, here we are, April, the month when us Devil May Cry fans eat good.
Oh yeah, that's like the show came out, right?
Yes, on Netflix.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be really good too, right?
I've heard good things, yes.
Okay, I'll put that down because I play a little bit of the game, but I don't know much about it, so maybe that'll be a good one to check out. I'll put that down as a show to watch too.
Jacob, thank you for the $20 super chat. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
With the passing of Val Kilmer earlier this month, I was curious, have you even seen his 2002 film, The Salton Sea? Vincent D'Onofrio has a supporting role as a dealer who snorted so many drugs his nose has rotted off.
No, well, that was fine because I do have a Val Kilmer movie actually coming up next week, but looking at, I opened up with a joke about going through his movies and stuff, and it's funny because you always think, oh yeah, after like, I don't know, maybe At First Sight or Prince of Egypt or something like that, like, you think he kind of dropped off, for whatever, maybe the health stuff started early, I can't remember, but he was in a ton of stuff. Like you go through, it's like, holy smokes, like some are just bit parts, but yeah, I mean, he just kept working constantly. So yeah, it's not surprising it's a Val Kilmer movie I haven't heard of. But what's it called again?
Sorry, it was called The Salton Sea.
Salton Sea. Okay, yeah. I'll try to remember that one.
AOTV, thank you for the $5 super chat. Will you review Truth or Dare? It has a reputation for being hilariously bad.
That's the one with the weird smile. Before Smile. That's Truth or Dare movie. Let me see. Yeah, that's the one with the silliest. It looks so fake. Maybe this does actually look pretty fun. Maybe I could do it like a crossover with Brad or something. That might be a fun one to do.
Hero, thank you for the 500 bits. With WrestleMania a mere few days away, what are your favorite wrestler appearances in movie or TV?
I mean, I do Hulk Hogan in Rocky 3. That's pretty cool. I mean, practically my introduction to both wrestling and G.I. Joe was Sergeant Slaughter. The first C2E2 I did, I saw he was at the booth next to me. I was just like, ah! Like, I didn't know I wanted to meet this person. I had no idea I wanted to meet this person. Like, when I think of like my earliest introduction of like TV commercials and Saturday morning, like I think of him, and I was just like, so that was always pretty cool. That's always gonna hold a place in my heart for very silly reasons. Oh, and Andre the Giant and Princess Bride, of course.
Oh, of course. Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Amphibia, which of Anne's friends do you like more, Sasha or Marcy?
I think Marcy's. Is Marcy the blonde? Let me see. Hold on. Amphibia Marcy. No, Marcy's the other one. No, I forgot her name. Marcy, and what was the other one again?
Sasha.
Sasha. I think I like Sasha more. Because in the first season, she was the only one that had like really interesting, good episodes. And you know, they do a lot with Marcy, definitely. I mean, they do a whole bunch with her, but yeah, I just remember like the first episode being not first episode, the first season being kind of you know, fine, but just for little kids. And then whenever there's an episode with her in it, it's like, okay, this is where like the story is finally getting going, and you know, and stuff's getting interesting. So I think I have more of a connection with it. And then that whether that frog, where that was Dungeon Master, whatever that was, the night he was so funny that she was teamed up with. So yeah, I loved all that.
Smashly, thank you for the $5 super chat. Are you going to make full reviews of the Rankin Bass, Hobbit, Return of the King movies, and are making full reviews of the Transformer movies and shows?
I think I followed that. For the Rankin Bass ones, probably not, because what did we do? I think the King and I, the Rankin Bass one, was one of the hardest we ever had to fight a copyright
Oh,
claim.
jeez.
Yeah, so they mean business to a point where I was thinking like, oh, maybe I should do the stop motion Christmas ones. I'm like, wait, no, I don't want to go through that again. And with the what was the other one brought up?
The Transformers movies and shows.
Transformers. Not the shows. I don't have time to do the shows, but at one point I like to do the movies, because even though there's a lot of them, I feel like a lot of them are very similar, so I can sum it up pretty easily.
A lover of cinema, thank you for the 500 bits. Doug, with the way that you've talked about him in the past, do you really hate Jonathan Taylor Thomas, let alone dislike him?
No. Honestly, I kind of forgot. I forgot I was that mean to him. No, I kind of remember the craze just being really big, and that got kind of annoying. But honestly, I mean, like, I thought he had some talent. I mean, how do I put it? Talent for just being like kind of the normal cool kid, you know, like kind of like he was the every kid, but like he was kind of cool at the same time. Like I thought he played it very naturally. But yeah, my God, act like there's a lot of great material that came out of that. No, but you know, I thought he did totally fine.
I hate Mets, Cowboys, and Knights. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Will NC ever review Meet the Feebles? Referencing that movie during Lord of the Rings month got me intrigued. That rat puppet's voice is oddly hilarious.
Maybe I should. It's one of those where I remember trying to watch it while I was younger, because I heard this is the guy that's going to do Lord of the Rings, and I knew it was going to be different. I know it's not like, well, this will be the same quality. No, I knew it was going to be different, but I couldn't get into it. Then I watched it years later, and I'm like, all right, now I have an appreciation for this. Maybe it's another one of those where I'm like, can I get away with it on YouTube? I mean, it is just puppets, so maybe it'd be all right. I don't know. We'll see. It might be fun to do.
Joel, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts on the anthology horror trilogy of terror? Sorry, trilogy of terror.
I had to remind it's like I see the image of the little guy, chasing after like trilogy of terror. That's what's called, right?
Yeah.
I have to remember all the stories in there. Yeah, everyone remembers the little guy, and but I'm having trouble finding the other stories here. I remember liking it, but boy, am I blanking on them on the other two stories. Yeah, that's so funny. I'm not finding the other ones in here. I remember. I just remember like, was that the one with the smoking one too? With the James Woods, was he in that? I don't know. I remember liking it.
AOTV, thank you for the $5 super chat. Favorite Coen Brothers movie? My family loves Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Probably Fargo. I'm also a big fan of No Country for Old Men. Actually really grew on me. I've really liked that more and more over the years. Obviously Big Lebowski, and A Serious Man is really good. That's one I think sometimes gets overlooked.
Alex loves musicals. Thank you for the 500 bits. Happy Wednesday. This year, could you review Hawkeye for Disney-cember? A character that'll be in the Thunderbolts movie has good character development in the show.
Yeah, I should. It's just camera. Everyone says it's really good. And I think about a trilogy of terror. I think I'm confusing it for the movie Cat's Eye. actually, because I'm thinking about a guy that was like
Oh.
climbing along a building. And I'm like, wait, now was that Cat's Eye or was that Trilogy of Terror? Like I'm confusing them. But they were both good. I liked them both either way, and I'll try my best to get to Hawkeye.
Kashawn, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hi to both Doug and Heather. A bit of a variation of last week's question. How would you feel about a Crash Bandicoot movie if you heard of the series?
I've seen like a little bit of. I remember the commercials more than I remember the game actually. But I mean, sure, just if any other reason just to find out more about it, it'd be like, yeah, what were those ads about? What is the story of this game? Because I never did play it.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Heather and Vox Machina, what do you think of the story of Scanlan's relationship with his daughter, Kaylee? I liked what they did with that because Scanlan's obviously he's a bard and he's a smooth talker and whatever, and it's always nice to see him be really introspective and thoughtful and kind of break out of that and how he would really react to his daughter and in that situation. So I really enjoyed what they did with him and his daughter for sure. Crunch Along, thank you for the $5 super chat. The director of Craven has actually made quite a few good movies. They include Margin Call, All Is Lost, and A Most Violent Year. Have you seen them?
No, I haven't even heard of them. I believe you. There's some movies. Same thing with the Disney live action remakes. Like a lot of good directors are put on those movies. It doesn't matter. I mean, as a lot of them admit it, a lot of it's filmed by committee. So like I don't necessarily blame them. It's not like, oh well, they made this. That's it. There must be nothing good out of them. Like, no, if it's in that umbrella, that's not enough to put the kibosh on. You know what I mean?
Nate, thank you for the $2 super chat. Joel, thank you for the 500 bits. How are you finding the second season of The Last of Us so far?
I've only got through the first half of the first episode. I mean, from that point, fine. Though I'm with you, Heather. We were talking about this yesterday, where we were like, huh, so that's the order they're doing it in. How are they gonna make this work? Like, how's
Right.
this gonna pan out? So I am very curious about that. But the Catherine O'Hara scene I thought was
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah.
I mean, I love when she can show her dramatic side as well. I mean, because even in her comedies, I feel like she shows, how what she can do in drama. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was really cool to see.
The one and only Phineas, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is Phineas from C2E2. It was lovely getting to chat and share with you my Beast Games war stories. Crazy to meet after watching you guys for years. It was
Yeah,
a
man,
pleasure.
that was really cool hearing all those stories and everything. Because I mean, I feel like once you say that, immediately, there's gonna be follow up questions. Like, really, well, tell me all about it. And yeah, it was everything was really cool. Everything you said about it was really awesome.
Future movie actor, thank you for the $5 super chat. You think an Oliver and Company remake would update to a modern New York or keep 1988 as that would keep both the original aesthetic and style intact?
I mean, I would prefer 88, but it'd be difficult to do. It's kind of like doing, 88 Chicago now. It's like it's sometimes it's more difficult to get rid of stuff and make it look a little bit more, grungy and stuff like that than it is to, make something bigger. So but I never got into that movie. Like, it's hard to say it's bad, but I don't know. I don't think it's that good either. That song is catchy. The "Why Should I Worry?" Like, that's a
Oh,
catchy
yeah.
song. But
I love that
everything else
song.
about Atchie, I think, is pretty forgettable. Except for that was the movie that actually introduced me to Cheech Marin. So I do have to thank you for
Oh,
that, because I was
really?
just like, "Who's that guy? Who's the Chihuahua? He's hilarious!" And of course, opened up a brand new world.
Future movie actor, thank you for the $5 super chat. Oh, I just read that, sorry. A lover of cinema, thank you for the 500 bits. Doug, this year would be great to do an NC on the Madagascar movies, including the Penguin movies. The first movie turns 20 years old in May, so might as well do it. Sheesh.
Yeah, actually, I do want to do those. I never did see There's two Penguin movies, right? Or is there just one?
I'm
I
not
forget,
sure,
but
actually.
I actually did like the three Madagascar movies, so yeah, maybe I should. Maybe it's not a bad idea.
Joel,
Maybe that's a good idea.
Joel, thank you for the 500 bits. Favorite Black Mirror episode?
I think I just saw it. The Paul Giamatti one was really really good. Although we're halfway through the follow up of the Star Trek parody, which is also really good. That actress, the one who played who was in the Penguin, and she was like the mafia boss or whatever. Like she's pretty versatile. Like I'm just I forgot she was in that first Black Mirror episode with the Star Trek parody. I'm just watching this again. Like man, yeah, it's just I do not see the same person. And she has to play like two different versions of herself in this episode, and you can just tell which one is which without going like too over the top. Like she's really, really good. So yeah, but the one where I was just like, oof, man, that was the Paul Giamatti one. Eulogy is what it was called.
Also, chat, you're not going crazy. There are tiny humans. I'm watching my niece and nephew tonight. Dorian just came, stood by for a second, and was like, I just wanted to say hi, and then walked away. I was like, all right, see ya. JL, thank you so much for that 12-month subscription over on Twitch.
Thank
Welcome back.
you.
Appreciate that. Almost forgot about your stream again, but I made it in time. Doug, do you think Disney will do a sequel to Jungle Book 2016, or do you think they just need to reboot the thing again?
I mean, they said they were going to. I don't want them to, but I mean, I'm, I was gonna say reboot it again. It's like, I mean, sure, if they actually do it like the book, or have some understanding of why, each one worked in their own way. I don't know. They need an overhaul. Town needs an enema. That kind of thing.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Heather, have you seen No Time to Die? If you have, what do you think of Rami Malek? Do you think he's a good villain? I have seen No Time to Die. I feel like every other Daniel Craig movie is a good Bond, and every other Daniel Craig Bond movie is a good Bond movie, although like Casino Royale, I think is still his best one. But No Time to Die was probably the third best of his Bond movies. I liked Rami Malek, but I just like Rami Malek in general, so I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it, better than some of the other Daniel Craig Bond movies.
Yeah.
Holsavan, thank you for the 200 NOK through Super Chat. Hey Doug, so I noticed you had Resident Evil on your list to stream. That means this will be one of your first horror games here on stream. Are you considering more of the genre in the future? Looking forward to hear your NC scream.
Is it really the first? Maybe you're right. Well, okay, maybe I'm tempting fate here, but I don't really get scared at games. I don't have big reactions at jump scares and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, let me put it this way: if something does legit get me, like I might be like, "Ooh, that was good. That was really good."
Right.
I don't do like the, I don't do that kind of thing.
I even saw you in Arkham Knight, because Arkham Knight gives you a couple of good jump scares. The most I saw was just you go, "Whoa, I did not see that coming."
Yeah, I'm just not a big honestly, and maybe part of what it is that already sets me in an environment where I'm aware it's coming. So it just already sets me up. Like the stuff that'll get a big reaction out of me is like in God of War. There's a scene where I'm opening up these doors, and I forgot there was something on the other end. I couldn't remember what these things look like. And my eyes are just on the right part of the door when it opens up. I just see these like white eyes and these giant like ghostly things just looking down on me because it was not what I was expecting. I was like, like that's the stuff that gets me. It has to be something that is really unexpected, like just really out of nowhere. So if you're like constantly in a dark place like Arkham, at the Arkham games, and I'm sure this, I usually don't jump at, get me wrong. Let's see, maybe this will be the one that gets me.
On a Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey Doug, how do you balance Disney-cember on what Disney put out themselves versus what they simply now own? I'm kind of thinking of the Pulp Fiction review and how I thought it felt odd.
It is odd, but I decided just to lean into it because I think I said before, well, I don't want to just do all the Fox movies because it'd be weird seeing Alien and the little Disney Semper logo there, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's hilarious. Come on, let's do it. Let's just lean into it and talk about some movies I really love. It also helps. I've been doing it for over 10 years, and every year I try to add like a new theme. So sometimes you just get a little desperate, but on the plus side, you get to talk about movies that are really fantastic sometimes.
Liam, thank you for the $15 super chat. Good morning from Australia, Doug. Before I watch your review on the movie, what's your opinion on Craven in the Spider-Man 2 PS5 game? Hope you're doing well.
I thought it was awesome. And Craven's really become like one of the cooler characters. I think the first time I saw him was in like the Spider-Man animated series, the 90s one. And I'm just like, who's this Joker? I'm not interested in this guy. But then like I think between Spectacular Spider-Man and the Spider-Man 2 game, I'm like, this guy's pretty awesome. Like when you get someone that really knows how to write him, like you can really, really have fun with this character.
Amanda, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, if you watch Once Upon a Time, treat the last season as a spinoff, and it'll be so much better. Heather, do you agree? I actually never saw the final season. I think I only watched like 5 or 6 seasons or so.
Only 5 or 6.
Right, that's all. That's all. Before I was like, I love this, but I don't have time for this anymore. I never watched the final season, so maybe I will watch the final season thinking, oh, this is just a spinoff then.
There you go.
Super Droid, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey Heather, what are your top 2 favorite villains from Dragon Ball? My 2 favorite are Frieza because of how evil and ruthless he was, and Vegeta when he was a bad guy, with the Ginyu Force as a close third. I agree with Vegeta. I love Vegeta. Both when he was good and bad. I like him a lot. And then I think I'm gonna agree with Frieza because yeah, it's just so iconic. He's so iconic with how like evil and how much of a force to be reckoned with he really was for Goku. So I agree with your 2. I'm sorry to be boring, but I do. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you guys think of the movie Hitch with Will Smith?
I never saw the whole thing. The bits I saw, it was fine. It just didn't look like a movie I'd be that into, so I never did finish it. But the bits I saw were fine.
AOTV, thank you for the $10 super chat. You reviewed Sky High and liked it. I know somebody who hated it and said he can't take a film seriously when the villain is Kronk from Emperor's New Groove. Thoughts?
You're not supposed to take it seriously. Yeah, I found out there was a lot of hate for them. When the way I found out, I think I can't remember, we were shooting something and I was talking about it and Tamara just said, wait, Sky High? I'm like, yeah, the superhero movie. Yeah, the superhero school. Yeah. You thought that was good? I'm like, yeah, I thought it was really funny. And it's one of the few times, because like we always, as the film snobs and everything, give her that look. And she just gave a look like, huh. Like she just said she remembers everybody hating that film when it came out. And I thought it was creative. I thought it was funny. I liked the way it was shot. I thought there's some good surprises in it. I like the people that are in it. I thought it was well cast. I thought it was fun.
Joel B, thank you for the 500 bits. Heather, I was wondering if you got to finish Invincible, and if so, what do you think of Conquest? I thought he was awesome and gives one of the creepiest monologues in television history. I have not. We're still, I think, on episode 5 of the latest season, so no. So many new things just keep coming out. I gotta finish Daredevil. I gotta finish Invincible. Andor is coming. It's too much.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and we got Last of Us 2 also. Oh my God, it's too much.
Ice Luigi, thank you for the $7 super chat. Recently watched Full Metal Jacket on Blu-ray, and R. Lee Ermey as the drills instructor was the biggest highlight for me. Possible NC review for the movie?
That's another one where I don't know how much it can get away with showing and talking about. I mean, definitely more than Kubrick's other movies, but yeah, I don't know. I can talk about it, but I feel like I'd just be saying what a lot of people say, which is the first half is amazing and the second half is good. Which some people argue is the point, showing that actually the boot camp in some respects is even more cruel than actual war. Some people say that's the idea, but I don't know. I go back and forth on that, but it is good. The layout of the story and everything. It's I think it's that middle ground after they get out of boot camp. And from there up to the sniper climax is a little dull. And people kind of talk weird, too. It's almost like a satire of a Kubrick film, the way they, you talk the talk, do you walk the walk? Like, they're almost doing like a satire of the Kubrick speak. But it is still a good movie. It's got good stuff to say. It's very interesting. So it should definitely be seen.
Nate, thank you for the $5 super chat. Please make a review of The Buzz on Maggie.
The Buzz on Maggie. I do not want Buzz on Maggie. Oh, you know what? I've never seen this show, but I feel like I've seen this image. It's like a Flash cartoon or something, right? Probably not. Not that it looks bad or anything. I just when I watch a show, I want it to be something I have like some interest in. And I just don't have interest in that.
Kakomon, thank you for the $5 super chat. When are you going to review Babe 1995, the movie about the pig? Well, they had to specify that.
The pig one.
The pig.
You know, it's gonna sound weird. The only reason I would review it would be to get to Babe Pig in the City because I really like that one. And Babe's a good movie. I'm not gonna knock it, but Babe 2 is just a bizarre, surreal, dark, odd, bonkers, just crazy fast, both whimsical and threatening and magical and horrific. It's like all these things in one film, and it's just like it kind of goes beyond words. And it's just so crazy. They got all these animals to do all these things too, and you believe the emotions, everything. So it would. I think what everybody said about the first Babe, I say about Babe 2. So maybe one of these days I'll do it, but I also know nobody's gonna click on it. It was big when it came out, and then kind of nobody talked about it after that. But like people know it, but they don't really talk about it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. At the end of the latest Hell of a Boss episode, what do you think of the scene where Octavia cuts ties with Stolas? I thought it was well done, and I felt so bad for Stolas.
Yeah, you could argue it's a touch forced, but at the same time, you see it's kind of like the movie The Wrestler. Like, yeah, some things are a touch forced, but you also see what led up to it. That was this guy's failing. Like, he ran out of second chances. And so when something legit did happen, well, it was all those years and years of letting this person down. So yeah, I thought that was I thought it worked out okay. And I usually don't like those setups, those scenarios, but I thought they actually did a pretty good job.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you think the MCU is better or worse since 2008 Iron Man?
Didn't it start at 2008 Iron Man? You mean like
right
now compared to 2008? Is that what they're talking about?
They just said, do you think the MCU is better or worse since 2008 Iron Man?
They have to be talking about like since it started, like comparing from now to where it started. But that's still rough because it's like, well, but they only had Iron Man back then.
Right.
I will say there's definitely they kind of got their formula early on. We were excited. We never saw something like this in movie universe, so it was cool. But it is one of those where when you go back, you can even go back to my old Disney Decembers on it. It's like, yeah, this is fine, but I don't love it. I mean, I think people were acting like they were all classics, and they really weren't. They had plenty of issues, but and the one thing I did like, I mean, it's a few things in Phase 4 I did like, but I did like the experimentation of it. And that is something I, would like to see more out of Marvel. But I will say Thunderbolts kind of looks like fun to me.
Yeah.
I like all those characters, and I look forward to seeing them interact. I guess what I'm not looking forward to is the stuff like, what do we call ourselves? We're not a team. We're not giving ourselves a name. Like, stop that. Like, that's really old. Just let these characters who are naturally funny and charismatic be funny and charismatic.
KJK, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, I know you're not the biggest into SpongeBob, but I was wondering how much you've seen and what are your overall thoughts on it. Personally, I still think the 3 seasons are comedy gold. The first 3 seasons, are comedy gold.
Yeah, I don't know if I've like sat down, watched a season, kind of thing, but when it first came on, a lot of my friends were watching it for obvious reasons. I remember liking it. I remember being imaginative and silly. It was kind of doing the Ren Stimpy. It was like a slightly more kid-friendly version of Ren Stimpy, which is funny. That is technically a kid's cartoon. But I thought it was pretty fun. And like I said, it kind of thought out of the box and got weird and everything. And I kept hearing like later seasons got really bad, which does, as Rob puts it, he's like, well, how do you do SpongeBob bad? He's like, that just sounds weird. But I think that's like over 40-year-old us talking. I'm sure like if I grew up with it, well, it's like, how do you do Ren Stimpy bad? Like they did. So I'm sure you're right. But what I saw, I enjoyed. I liked. I can see why it caught on, and it's interesting that it's still going. And I don't know. That's a fascinating legacy. I think I'm too old to comment on it. I haven't seen enough, but what I saw, I did like it.
The Disney Nerd, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather, since I'm on Avril Lavigne kick, what are your top 3 favorite Avril Lavigne songs? For me, 3, Bite Me, 2, What the Hell, 1, Smile. I mean, like, of her big hits, my favorite is probably Complicated. But then, like, I don't know, Let Go and Under My Skin were the 2 albums of hers that I was like, crying to when I was
Mhm.
in middle school or like high school and stuff. I always remember My Happy Ending and I'm With You. I just always loved singing I'm With You too. Like, I'm with you. It's a fun one to sing. Joel, thank you for the 500 bits. Whose version of Defying Gravity do you guys prefer, Indina Menzel or Cynthia Erivo? Why would you ask me this, Joel?
I've heard Adina Menzel a lot more, because I think I had the soundtrack before I saw the musical. But yeah, no, I definitely did. So I've only heard the movie one once. I remember liking it. I'd have to hear them side by side. Yeah, I don't know.
It pains me. If I have to choose, I think I am going to go with Indina, but I think I know me, Dina Menzel, how dare I? I think it's more because it's more of like a Broadway performance, I guess, than like, well, no, Cynthia Erivo's is still very Broadway, but I don't know. It's just my gut. It's just my heart,
Mm.
Deshaun, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, would you think about reviewing the 2014 Annie movie with Jamie Foxx?
I didn't see it. I don't get into Annie at all. It's a movie with Tim Curry and Carol Burnett, and yet somehow it's still bad. How do they do that? And Robert Altman directs it. How do you do that? Yeah, I just don't have any interest. I heard the remake's not good either. So yeah. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. It's a hard knock life. Oh, shut up.
You shut up, Doug.
You shut up.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the DuckTales reboot, what do you think of Webby's friend Lena?
Fine. I like the connection to the villain the most with that. Some of the imagery, like the black gunk coming out of the eyes and mouth, and that was nice and creepy. But just kind of a typical, character who's tortured, and got to break through to show she's okay, like that kind of thing. But I mean, it's done fine.
KJK, thank you for the 500 bits. If you were to rewatch Game of Thrones, where exactly would you stop?
I would stop the episode before the White Walkers invade the castle, because I actually love that episode. That's probably my favorite episode, just the build up before that battle. I thought that was very, very well handled. As much as we crap on that last season, I thought that episode was fantastic.
Dave, thank you for the $5 super chat. In your opinion, what's the funniest time a movie's profanity was edited for TV?
I always like we still quote every once in a while, where we were growing up watching this. But I think it was called like The Hard Way, something like that. It was a James Woods, Michael J. Fox movie. And instead of son of a bitch, they would say slug in a ditch. And they would just say it over, you slug in a ditch. And we would just always laugh every time we heard that. Oh, and then of course the Snakes on a Plane is pretty great. And the Die Hard too. Those are pretty funny.
A lover of cinema, thank you for the 500 bits. How would you rank the Ninja Turtles movies from best to worst? That would include the 3 90s movies, the 2007 CG movie, the 2014 live action movie, Out of the Shadows, and Mutant Mayhem.
Man. So my personal favorite is the original live action way. That's my personal favorite. But in terms of which one is actually the best, it would probably be Mutant Mayhem. That one kind of has the most character and it flows the best, but I do like the first one the most. I mean, in order, I don't know. That's a lot to line up. Yeah, I don't know how I do that. I'd have to really sit down and think about that one.
Tony, thank you for the $5 super chat. How familiar are you with the Kirby franchise? If not, do you at least remember seeing those commercials from the 90s, especially the one Tony J?
Tony J. What? Just as an announcer? If that's what you're talking about, maybe I do remember seeing the commercials because it did look like a pretty fun game. It's one of those where they got across so quickly what kind of game it was, and sometimes you just see a game advertised and it'd be so weird and odd. It's like, well, what's even the point of the game? What do you do with it? What kind of game is it? But that one, I feel like they got across pretty well what it was all about and what he can do and everything. I just remember playing the first game and having a good time. Honestly, outside of that, just Smash Brothers is probably the most times I've played with that character.
Jeremy, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey there, would you rather see Jim Carrey return in a live action Grinch sequel or Mike Myers return in a live action Cat in the Hat sequel?
I mean, they're both awful. You know what? Jim Carrey in The Grinch, just so I can see more Grinch meet and greets at Universal's, because that's like the one good thing to come out of that movie is those meet and greets, because those are funny actors working under a lot of makeup, and they are very, very talented.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of the Nintendo Switch 2, and do you think PlayStation should get back into the portable gaming market? Didn't they just release one? Yeah, the Portal. The PlayStation Portal.
I'm not the guy to ask. When PlayStation 2 came out, everyone was complaining about the price. It was kind of like Star Trek 4, where I was like, is that a lot? Like, I don't know. I just don't get that many game systems. And when I do, I usually get them to watch movies on. So, yeah, I trust more people talking about it than I do myself. My opinion is not going to add anything because I don't really have much of an opinion on it.
Jordan, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hi, Doug. You've ever watched Rock and Rule? If not, you should definitely give it a watch. It's got some heavy lore behind this film. It's wild.
Yeah, that's always on the list. I haven't gotten around to it. Maybe I'll do it soon, actually, because I got sick from doing 2 cons back to back, so we had to push back a shoot with the cast. So you're gonna get some shorter reviews coming up for a couple weeks here. But yeah, I'm trying to find ones to do. I'm like, maybe now's the time to do Rock and Roll. Maybe I'll put it down as a possibility. I never know if anyone's gonna watch it, but I've never seen it. I do want to check it out.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Owl House, while I agree Bellows could have been more interesting, I have to admit his goals were pretty hardcore. It's got every day. Sorry, yeah. Maybe it's supposed to be it's not. It's not every day in a Disney show where the villain's main plan is mass, and then maybe a word I shouldn't say on YouTube. Mass, like killings.
Mass.
They had another word for it that I'm like, I don't know if YouTube might censor us for saying that word.
I think that one's okay because I've used it a bit, but just in case, I'm with you. So mass, that word.
Mhm.
What? Just in general.
Just
mass.
in general. That was
Gotcha.
his master plan, I guess. I don't know. I've never seen the show.
I don't know. Isn't it though? Isn't there always a Disney villain that just wants to kill everybody and destroy the world and stuff? I don't know. It was just more for a very targeted message. And, that definitely has, history and stuff, certainly. But I don't know. I just feel like I've seen that kind of villain before. I will say that, yes, they go very, very hardcore with it. They go very, very dark, very mean, which is like, okay, like definitely gives it an edge and everything. But that just makes me wish the character was even more interesting. Like I could get behind it even more in terms of like, man, what a terrible person if they just didn't make him just that and not really give him a humanity. And again, I feel like that went against sort of the idea of the message, but maybe that's just me.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you think Tobey Maguire is still too old to play Spider-Man if he ever comes back?
How old is he now? I don't know. I mean, he's not my favorite. I was one of those. I was like, what? Not Tobey Maguire, blah, blah, blah. And then when I saw the first movie, I'm like, not Tobey Maguire. And finally, the second movie, I'm like, all right, maybe he's working okay. So, yeah, I don't know what you did. They already had him back, and it was great. They had Garfield back, and that was great. Just leave it alone. I feel like we're done.
Sean49 Doctor, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, last week I brought up Phil Collins, but have you seen his few acting roles, like the episode of Miami Vice he did in the 1988 film Buster, in which he played one of the participants of the 60s British train robbery?
Or his scene-stealing performance in Hook. The funny thing is, I feel like I've seen him in a few bit parts. I think he has starred in one or two movies. I remember him actually being decent. Like he's not a bad actor from what I remember.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. From what you have seen of Invincible, who do you think gives the better performance? J.K. Simmons as Nolan or Steven Yeun as Mark?
I mean, Simmons has the more juicy role. I have to say him, but it's kind of not fair, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
JL, thank you for the 600 bits. Best and worst moments from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
Let's see, best moment probably. I mean, the one that pops in my head is just the train, the passing him down and everything. That was after so much intensity, him passing out, then the people he saved kind of saving him and carrying him. I thought that was a very touching scene. I also do like the scene where he confesses to Aunt May what happened in that movie. Worst, like a part of me is like it's got to be something in 3, but there's a lot of moments in 1 there. I hunch, or you're the one who's out, Gabby, out of your mind. Like, oh, it's just so stupid. Something in 1 or 3.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on the movie Minority Report?
I like it. That's another one I always have on the list because I feel like it'd be a fun movie to talk about. There's definitely stuff that doesn't work about it, but the stuff that does is pretty cool. And I know they were trying to legit look at stuff that predict what was going to happen in the future, like certain technologies and everything. And some of it I feel like has actually happened or is in the process of happening. So one of these days I might do it. It's just another one where I'm like, for whatever reason, Tom Cruise movies don't do well on the channel, so I usually don't do them.
JL, thank you for the 1,000 bits. When people tell me I can't, I just want to shout, I was frozen today.
I usually just shout, watch me.
Mr. Hill, thank you for the $5 super chat. Who is the better screamer, William Hanna or Mel Blanc?
Oh, brother, don't make me choose. I'll have to say Mel Blanc only because they allowed him to not only do screams like but scream words as well, scream phrases, so there's more variety there. But both are wonderful.
Will, thank you for the 500 bits. With the talk of emotional storytelling in movies, is there an example you could think of emotional storytelling in video games, be it plot or other, or even the same or different?
Uh, I'm not saying this. I don't know if this counts, but I remember the ending of Zelda 3 having like a good like emotional punch to it. Like, yeah, I mean, but there was, I guess, because it's fantasy, sort of teetering almost on fairy tale. You could have kind of a heavy lean to it. I mean, not as much as something like like we talked about like Wizard of Oz or Snow White or anything, but I just remember that ending being very satisfying. It was very emotionally gratifying to see every character you encounter and what happened to them afterwards. So I don't know if that's like the best example, but it's the best example I can think of right now.
Okay. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. And Click, what do you think of the scene where he keeps telling his wife he's on autopilot?
I'm trying to remember that scene. I thought you were going to talk about the one with the dad. Like, that scene's great. The autopilot one, I'm blanking on it. I don't remember it.
James, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather, I finished Utna over the weekend and was disappointed by the ending. I then watched the film and liked it a lot better. Yes. Yeah, I've heard the movie is required. Not required, but does help everything feel better in the end. I never finished the anime. Like I said, I read more of the manga than I did the anime. But yeah. Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you seen Bridge on the River Kwai? And if so, thoughts?
Oh yeah, no, that's a great movie. Talk about really going into the mind of like the it's just somebody that's like, I guess in a way giving into the creative Stockholm, if that makes sense, actually working against what, you originally joined to do. I found that very, very fascinating. No, I remember it being a very good movie.
Adriana, thank you for the $5 super chat. I noticed you wear a Gorillaz shirt sometimes. What are your favorite Gorillaz songs?
Uh, I mean, of course, Clint Eastwood. That's a big one. I really like the one. I'm blanking. See, I'm terrible at remembering the name of them because the names half the time don't even, aren't even lyrics in the song. But there's one on the first album where it's kind of like violin music and it's got kind of an R&B beat under it. It almost sounds like there's rain outside, and then like Noodles just saying, I don't know, something in Japanese or Chinese, something like that. I can't remember what she is. And it's just very atmospheric and it's very laid back. And it's definitely great to take something and listen to. And I think it literally opens with that sound effect of, like that. So I don't know. I dig that one a lot. I'm not saying it's like their best stuff, but I remember really liking that one.
Axel Rose, thank you for the 100 NOK through super chat. Would Doug, I really am amused they put Doug in quotation, so I'm going to air quote that. Would Doug review the movie Glory, 1989? It's a movie about the American Civil War that has Matthew Broderick, also in quotations, in it.
How bizarre. That we know of. But I don't know if I'll review it, but I do like it. And actually, I thought Broderick was fine. And I'm not gonna say he's great or anything, but but part of that could be there's so many other really good actors in there with Carrie Elways and Denzel Washington's just phenomenal. I mean, like he always is. He's just so good. But yeah, I remember liking that movie. I didn't think it was fantastic, but I thought it was I thought it was pretty well done.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Heather, at the end of the final battle of Invincible Season 1, how do you feel when Mark gets through to Nolan, when Nolan asks him what he will have in 500 years, and Mark says, "You, Dad, I'd still have you." I mean, that's a great scene. A lot of Invincible is just great. They handle some of that, like, I don't want to say whiplash, but kind of. They handle some of that harder storytelling with some of the comedy so well that season 1, I think, is like a peak example of that at times. So
that's another show I gotta get back. I saw season 1, I never saw the other ones. What are they up to now? Like 3 or 4?
3 is season 3.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so far behind. I gotta catch up.
Jolyn, thank you for the $7 super chat. Do either of you have an obscure, corny cartoon you have a soft spot for? Personally, mine is LPS 2012.
I mean, I know I do. I usually watch them when I take something, but just to relive the glory days, the nostalgia, all that stuff. But man, I don't know. Like, they're not good. They're just ones I remember. Like, for some reason, the ones coming in my head, my brain's just completely betraying me right now. For some reason, it's like Super Ted. Say Super Ted. Why Super Ted? It's not good. It's a stupid British show that's like for toddlers. I don't know why that's coming in my head, but sure, you need one. That's one. That's not even like a good one, but for some reason, it's the only thing in my head. My brain's just totally turning against me.
James, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, there's going to be another He-Man film. It's going to be live action again, and have them go to Earth again. Did they not learn from the last time?
They're just trying to. They're just borrowing the script from Smurfs. They keep doing that over and over. Like, I don't know, just change it to He-Man.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. Fun facts you never knew for Toy Story 2 review. Woody being based on a TV marionette puppet is a cool nod to Woody's OG concept as a ventriloquist dummy. There we go. I got there.
Cool. I did not know that.
Trip, thank you for the $5 super chat. You said season 3 of Amphibia reminded you of the early Simpsons seasons in your Disney-cember. How so?
Oh, just the right. Well, because it takes place in, our world, and it's more like a city, suburban, humor, and, which is what Simpsons was. But it was very imaginative and silly and just had good timing and funny characters. You couldn't wait to see, how that person will react to this thing that we all recognize, because they're just such good characters. Yeah, it was just funny. It was zany, it was silly, but he still cared about the characters too. I enjoyed it a great deal.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is another fun Toy Story 2 fact. Woody
Wooden Buzzy.
I'm obviously slightly distracted here. Woody and Buzz have action themes that play times two, and the film, or two times in the film, Buzz theme is flying around planet at film start, then again running through luggage scene.
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining Wooden Buzzy being the porn parody. That's such a perfect title. The script writes itself. I mean, it's right there. It's right there.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. Another fun fact. Woody's theme, writing Bullseye to save Jesse and Pete, and the show plays, again, writing Bullseye with Buzz chasing luggage tram, heading to plane for Jess.
Yes, but Pete's not there. So, that completely falls apart. No.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. Dark Theory. Woody signed Friend and Me and sequel makes me think Randy Newman didn't make those songs. They were playing in the toys' heads the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say you have Jesse's song, but I guess you don't technically see her sing it. So you don't know. Yeah, it could be just like a little record that maybe Andy had or something. But then they sing it at the end, which again, if they had that record, could kind of make sense. Yeah, I don't know. It's a dark, twisted idea.
Kevin, thank you for the 12-month membership over on YouTube. Welcome back. Appreciate that. In Legend, 1985, the bait used to weaken the unicorns was Princess Lily's innocence. Unicorns are naturally drawn to those perceived as pure, and darkness exploited this to trap them.
Gotcha. Okay. Then yeah, not a bad line.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the second to last episode of Amphibia, what do you think of the scene where Sprig gets through to Andreas by reading the letter his best friend wrote for him? I think it's done very well, and Keith David's performance was so emotional.
Yeah, everything was good with that. It's just one of those where everything they do in that finale I've seen before. So it wasn't that surprising, but at the same time, that's kind of a show that celebrates tropes and has fun with them. And they constantly talk about it all the time. So I'm like, yeah, I think it works just well enough. But same thing with Owl House. They kind of do the same thing. So I'm like, all right, this technically works. It's just I'm just seeing a lot of it. But it's still done very well. You're right. He performed it very well. It's still written well. I just wish there was a little bit more variety. I actually thought the episode after that was even though it's doing a whole bunch of other tropes, but it was a nice little surprise, like, oh, there's more. I thought that was kind of a fun spin on that.
James, thank you for the $5 super chat. Oh, one other thing for the He-Man film, Skeletor will be played by Jared Leto.
At least we don't have to see him.
Jace,
or do we?
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. What's the story/idea behind the random sound clip you choose at the end with the Channel Awesome logo? I have a theory, but I want to hear your answer first.
Oh, there were just some shows in the 90s that did that. And I think when it began with, it said the end by that guy with the glasses, it's always like, I gotta put something. Oh, no, I think I always put like something with the 5-second movies, like a bit of the music or a funny line or something. I was like, all right, I want to just keep doing this, keep putting something at the end. But I think honestly, it's probably a reference to like Duckman would always do it, and Mystery Science Theater would always do it. They'd have like a funny little bit at the end when they show like the logo. So yeah, it's a mix of those two.
Gary Turbo, thank you for the $5 super chat. What existing property would you like to make content with? For example, I would love to make a Vampirella game.
I always, there's two. One, I'm going to do a video on. I always wanted to do a movie based on the comic book The Mask, like actually make it comic accurate. I think you could do it now with Deadpool being popular and everything. The other is, I never have any interest in Broadway plays or Broadway musicals or anything, but I have a really weird, crazy idea that the movie Snoopy Come Home could be a really good Broadway musical.
Ooh,
I don't know why. I just have this in my head that this could be something. And I kind of planned it out. I'm like, you could change it a little bit. You could sort of work with this. I'm like, I think this could work.
Mark, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, Doug, I'm getting ready to make a clerk style film about two people who are obsessed with Channel Awesome. I would love to get you involved in some capacity if you're interested.
um, me, it's tough because, as I said before, I do still have chronic fatigue. I'm still struggling to catch up just with regular work, but I am on new medicine now that is helping. It doesn't get rid of it, but it is definitely a vast improvement. So I think you'd still have to give me a little bit of time before I could commit to anything.
The Firstborn, thank you for the $5 super chat. Do you think Cobra Kai's conclusion brought things full circle? Because I actually did, as ridiculous as the action got. It is a good action, though.
I didn't watch the last season. I was just kind of done. I was kind of out, so I just asked people what happened, and it sounded pretty ridiculous, but sound like it. In terms of where everybody ends up and everything, it's like okay, fine, I guess. But again, I mean, I sort of checked out maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago. I mean, I still watched it because there's always something a little interesting, but I'm like, yeah, this was hanging on by a thread for a while.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Have you seen the Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan movies, Patriot Games, and Clear and Present Danger?
Yeah, I remember like him. It's one of the few times where I feel like Ford was kind of miscast, though. Like I get what they were going for, but I feel like someone like Alec Baldwin or Ben Affleck actually was much more the Jack Ryan character, or who the guy from The Office now he plays him sometimes, right? John Chris, how do you say his last
Yeah,
name?
Krasinski, I think.
Krasinski, yeah. That seems more what I imagine Jack Ryan like. Where if Ford's a great actor, but I'm like, I feel like that's not Jack Ryan.
Strider for Life, thank you for the 500 bits. I know I'm late to this, but R.I.P. George Foreman.
Yeah. No, yeah, quite a few. I mean, I guess you can always say that of any year it can't change. Wow, a lot of people are dying. Well, yeah, people die,
Yeah.
but that was sad to see.
Juliana, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your final thoughts on The Pit? No spoilers, of course, but it was bloody fantastic.
Literally bloody. So I've only seen an episode or two, and it's not bad. Out of all the medical shows out there, that's probably the best. I just don't get into medical shows. I'm the same thing with lawyer shows and court shows. I just don't get into a lot of cop shows. I don't really get into either. But again, of all the ones I've seen, that's the one that like held my interest the longest.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. Surprised you didn't mention the Wicked Witch theme playing when Lloyd was laughing on Scooter in Dumb and Dumber, the Thing remaster possible game to play.
Didn't follow that last part, but I don't know. I mean, you can hear it, so I feel like kind of speaks for itself. I feel like it's a pretty well-known tune.
Gary, thank you for the $10 super chat. This question is for everyone. If you're in the wasteland in Fallout, what would you do? I wouldn't have to worry about that because I would be Brotherhood Knight / engineering proctor.
I don't know. I'd be in the shelter trying to marry somebody to stay here. You know what I mean? Just like, please, I don't want to go out there.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. And Last of Us, what do you think of Marlene?
Marlene is the I don't think I'm far enough to see.
She's in the first game. Marlene's the first game. She's the one of the leaders of the Fireflies, the very end.
Oh, that's right. Hold on. Hold on. Last of Us show. Because sometimes they look different in the show. I remember her being pretty good. Yeah, I thought they handled her pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Magic Window, thank you for the $5 super chat. What does your schedule look like when you're making a video? Like all the different steps? What do you do day by day, etc.?
So when you add it up, it's roughly 2 weeks to do a review that has the whole cast in there, and then 1 week to do what I call an editorial review. But I mean, it's really just a castless review, but castless is very hard for me to say. So yeah, usually with one that doesn't have the cast in there, I have a shorter amount of time to write it. So I try to have it be a movie I've already seen or have a general idea of, and I'll literally watch it and kind of like Mystery Science Theater. I'll watch it, make it, and then this happened, blah, blah, blah. Wait. Okay, I need a good spot for a joke here. Okay, it's a good job. Okay, and then this happened, blah, just like watch it in order kind of thing. And then with the other ones, I mean, like you see, first viewing, we'll watch it, make jokes. I'll yeah, and put some notes down. I'll let it kind of sit for a bit and kind of think about what I want to do with it, and then maybe let a day pass while working the other review and write that, and then get that to people to make props and get the lines down and everything. So yeah, I don't know if I answered the question or not. It's the best I can answer it right now.
Great. AOTV, thank you for the $5 super chat. You mentioned Sergeant Slaughter. Did you know during the Gulf War, the WWE boss, Vince Mahone, had him become an Iraqi sympathizer after his G.I. Joe run?
No, I did not know.
I didn't pre-read that in my head before I read it out loud, and I was like, what? Oh, okay.
It was a different time.
TJ, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, Doug, been a fan for a long time. What are you and Heather's thoughts on silent films?
I mean, like, so I was gonna say like anything, there's good and bad ones, but it's like the more I think about it, only the good ones survived.
True, right?
But there are a lot of ones that people forget about. Well, and then here's this is a different subject, but I really love them. Again, the well, especially how more flexible you can kind of get with reality sometimes, like with the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
And just the style of that. But what I was getting to is I found out, you know, the trope of the mustache villain tying the lady to the railroad tracks and everything. Silent film. That has never been a silent film.
Oh, really?
Ever. They've been in parodies.
Huh.
In fact, the closest they found was a guy being tied to the railroad tracks, and the woman saves him.
That's funny.
Like, and it was in a movie that not too many people know about, and they just found a few images. Like, okay, well, here's the script, here's that, so that's the closest we got. But yeah, there's actually never been a silent film where that's ever happened. We see it as like this big trope, this big cliche.
Maji Dude, thank you for the 25-month subscription over on Twitch. Welcome back. Appreciate that. I highly recommend the Ben 10 franchise, but also, did you know the studio that made Ben 10 and Teen Titans made a Transformers cartoon? One character is voiced by Weird Al. His name is Wreck-Gar. He's a garbage truck. His quotes are, "I'm garbage and I dare to be stupid."
It's good because they used that song in the Transformers movie. I hear Ben 10 is really good. It sounds like a fun idea. It's just a time thing. I don't have time to watch it. I know there's different versions of it too. So, yeah, it's one of these days I love to watch it, but I just don't have the time now.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. 500 bits.
Wow.
And Mac and Me, what do you think of McDonald's scene? Also, Mac and Me is free on YouTube this month.
Ooh, joy. I mean, it's as wonderfully ridiculous as you can get. I mean, it's just the dance sequence and everything. It's pretty hilarious. That's another one my mom refused to let me see just on the grounds of it's too stupid. And that's another one where I saw it years later and I'm like, she was right.
Shouting Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. A bit of a random question, but do either of you guys speak any foreign languages or are fluent?
Nah.
I'm not fluent, but I know French and Japanese. Movie Lover, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, who is your favorite out of the following actors? Finn Wolfhard, Jack Dylan Grazer, or Jacob Tremblay?
I gotta look at Jacob Tremblay's the one that I remember most out there. I feel like I've heard the other names, but they're not.
Finn Wolfhard is in Stranger Things.
Okay, that's right. That's where I know him from. And then who's the second one?
Jack Dylan Grazer. That name doesn't sound terribly familiar to me.
Jack Dylan Grazer. Let's see. Was he also from? Let's go to his IMDb. Maybe he's also from Stranger Things. He looks really familiar.
Okay.
Oh no. He's the one from Shazam and Luca.
Yeah.
Okay. Still probably Jack Tremblay, which is ironic because I think he was in one of the Smurf movies. You know, just like a little toddler, and he was awful. They clearly didn't know. I mean, but he's turned into like one of the great like actors right now. Definitely child actor. I mean, I'm sure he's much older now, but yeah, no, phenomenal talent. Definitely of all those three, I think he's probably the best.
Movie Lover, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, who's your favorite out of the following actor? Oh, I just read that. Sorry. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Always thought that in Mac and Me and E.T., both brothers had the name Mike.
Yeah, I thought about that. I haven't
Mhm.
seen either of them that much, so I'm probably not the one to ask.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Which version of Craven do you like more, Spectacular or the game?
Probably the game, just because you can go a little further with it. It's a little bit more adult, but the Spectacular one is really, really good.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Would you want Mac and me to get a 4K Blu-ray release, and did you ever own the VHS?
Hell yeah, I could care less. I shouldn't say that. A movie that bad deserves 4K. It really does.
Snare Flare, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm so happy I didn't see the Minecraft movie. If I was in a theater with the entire audience acting like that, they would all die. They would
I
all
just don't
simply
get.
perish.
I just don't get. I can't bring in. I can't sneak in a soda, a candy bar, or anything like that. It's like, oh yes, sir. Go ahead with that giant bag of popcorn. Oh yes, sir. Enjoy your live chicken. How are they getting them in?
I don't know. Juliana, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, you have to do the Disney musical TV show Gallivant for Disneycember this year. It's so underrated.
I've seen that show. I like it. Maybe I should. If there's a physical copy of it, maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember liking that show. That show was a lot of fun.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. In Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, did you ever want to eat the giant cookie that the kids ate?
Yes. Oh my god. When I was a kid, that was like my heaven because I loved those cookies as a kid. And just the idea of a giant one was it was just amazing to me.
Shouting Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey guys, remember when I said that my problem with season 1 of Jessica Jones was Kristen Ritter's performance being too flat? Well, the more I thought about it, the more I think her performance works and she does a good job. Also, she's definitely better than Finn Jones as the titular character in season 1 of Iron Fist.
When you brought that up, something that did when you brought it up this time, it did dawn on me because I remember her being good, but the one thing I remember not liking, and it's always something that I feel like when somebody does like a film noir type show or movie, they're like, "Well, we have to do this." It's like, no, you don't. Is she? She has like narration in that show, right? Or no?
Um,
Jessica Jones.
I think so. I can't remember.
I,
I'm
I
sorry.
want to say I remember her having narration, and it sounded odd, and that's just because narration sounds odd, especially in that film noir style. Like it's very difficult to. But I'm not saying it never works, but it's very difficult to pull off. In that kind of style, the film noir walking down, the night was cold and we were going down, blah blah blah. Like it has to already kind of be a hint of a satire, something like Sin City, kind of thing where it goes to a super extreme. So I do remember hearing that and being like, thinking the same thing, like, oh no, is this what it's gonna be like? But yeah, as it keeps going, she's really, really good.
Samuel, thank you for the $5 super chat. 2 days ago, I went with my dad to Libertyville to buy me a black Nissan Sentra car. How about you two? What was your first reaction to buying your first cars?
Uh
I was just really proud because I was like, it was right out of college for me because I got a job right out of college teaching. And so I was just like, I'm just going to get my own car because I was using my grandma's old car at that point, and
hmm.
it was terrible. It was a 1991 Plymouth Acclaim, my grandma's car was, and this was in 2009, mind you.
It was neat. It was fun. It's always going to be something where I need somebody who knows what they're doing to come with me because I'm too nice. I'm not good at haggling, and I don't know numbers. My numbers just go in there. Yeah, so I always need somebody that knows this stuff and can help me get a good deal.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Rocco's Modern Life, how would you rank the four main characters? Rocco, Heifer, Filbert, and Mr. Bighead.
Mr. Bighead's my favorite. They're probably Rocco. And then who's the cow again?
Heifer.
Heifer, and then the other one.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you think Best Buy made a mistake in not selling physical media anymore? Yes, that's the only reason I ever stepped foot in that store. Literally, the only reason I went to that store was once a year on Black Friday for good Blu-ray sales. So,
Yeah, totally agree. I love physical media. I hope it makes a comeback.
Honest Reviewer, thank you for the 35-month subscription over on Twitch. Welcome back. Appreciate that. Sup, Doug. The more I think of it, they got a more fitting actor. Craven would have made a great villain for a Black Panther movie. Could a fight between him and Chadwick be epic? Could even work as his brother Chameleon to destabilize Wakanda behind the scenes?
Sure. Yeah. Well, even the actor himself, Aaron Joy, like wouldn't be the choice I would make, but
Hmm.
like I can see him working if they wrote the character well. So no, I can see that going pretty good.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the DuckTales reboot, what do you think of Gyro Gear Loose? Or, yeah, Gyro Gear Loose, I think.
A very different take, which I liked. Because in the original, he's just sort of a nice inventor, you know, a little goofy, whatever. I like he's kind of a cynical a-hole who doesn't like that his stuff always gets destroyed or they don't realize the brilliance of his mind. I thought that was pretty fun.
Peter, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug and Heather, have you guys ever watched Disney's Chibiverse? It's a great show, in my opinion. If you have seen it, what are your thoughts?
I know what it is. I have not seen it. I'm a terrible I am very prejudiced against chibi. I don't get into that style. I just don't like the way it. I have the same thing with Funko Pops. I just see it. I'm like, I don't like just the little dots there, and that's it. That's odd. I don't like it. The same thing with the chibi style. I don't like just the weird simplified. I don't know. There's a way to do simplified I can look at and really enjoy, and that style doesn't do it. Doesn't do it for me.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. I won't like the scene in Mac and Me when the kid falls off the cliff. Still pretty terrifying.
I think it's hilarious. I love that scene.
Shouting Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. What is a comic book movie that you guys initially were not a big fan of, but then over time really grew to love? For me, it was the first Guardians of the Galaxy because I initially was so used to serious Marvel movies, and for some reason I wasn't used to the tone of that movie. As time went on, the movie became really good.
Boy, I don't know.
I was really obnoxious when Watchmen first came out because I was like, it's the book is so much better. I don't even know what value you see in the movie. The book is like, you should just go read the graphic novel, and then it's not a bad movie.
Boy, I don't know. Usually the ones, it's rare I see one that I dislike and then go back and I like it. There's been some I liked, I went back and I didn't like it. Like the Whedon Justice League. When I saw that, I was like, I think I was so used to the DC films being so bad. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I don't know, something more upbeat and light. That's fine. Then we would watch it again. We're like, this is awful. We didn't even have the Snyder cut. Yeah, we just saw it. It was like, this is not good. I'm still listening. I'm just closing the window here.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Did you see the first look at Gendy Tartakovsky's new project, Fixed? I was interested at first, but after seeing these images, I get pretty generic Ren and Stimpy movie vibes. I like Ren and Stimpy, but I always know what to expect from them. You have any thoughts?
Yeah, that's right. I thought they were talking about this movie for a while, and that just kind of disappeared. In fact, now is it a movie or a show now? I'm like so confused. I don't know. I mean, like, the guy's done great stuff. It's pretty rare that he does something bad. So I'm definitely interested. And if I'm right, I think it's supposed to be like an R-rated animated comedy. So I mean, anything else, I'm just down for that.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Aside from the Inside Out movies, what are your favorite Pixar films? Mine would have to be Coco, Up, Inside Out 1 and 2 would be tied, Toy Story 2, and Soul.
Up is great. Coco is very, very good. I really like Luca. Luca's one that
great.
I think that kind of flies under the radar, and that's really one of those where I'm like, that was just so stupidly charming. It was just ridiculously charming. But that's another one where it started off kind of bad. I'm like, oh no, I don't think I'm gonna like that. But as soon as he gets on the surface, it just turns into like an instant fantastic movie.
We are going to have to pick up the pace here. I thought we were doing all right, but we're getting a flux of questions here. TJ, thank you for the $20 super chat. Hey, Doug, would consider bring the Dark Tunes back. I asked because Tony J does a voice in an episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Also, briefly, your thoughts on Tiny Toons reboot.
I like the first season. I started the second season. I wasn't getting into it. Like, it wasn't bad, but it's just a kid show. You know, there wasn't too much else to it. I'm probably not going to do Dark Toons anymore. I just don't have the steam for it anymore.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, give a Christopher Walken click meme.
Click here.
Good old Granite, thank you for the £2 super chat. Axel Rose, thank you for the 100 NOK. Am I the only one who thinks Sid from Toy Story looks like Mike Matei?
I can see that. A younger Mike Matei.
Alex, thank you for the $500 MX super chat.
Wow.
Disney December
Thank you.
idea. Yeah. I'm not sure what that translates to in US dollar.
Still, thank you.
Yeah, still, thank you. Disney December idea. There's a Disney animated short from when Walt was alive that's so obscure, I know you don't know about it. It was a 6-minute short called The Sleepy Pigs for 1963's Mexican film Tree Tree or Cree Cree, The Singing Cricket.
Disney. I've seen Three Little Pigs. I've seen Three Little Pigs. Oh, Three Sleepy Pigs go to Mexico. Oh, huh. You're right. I never heard of this. I guess I'll try to look it up. Thank you for letting me know. Huh.
Miku, thank you for the $5 super chat. Does Doug really hate the TV show Doug?
I don't hate it. I didn't get into it. I mean, it's just fun to make fun of because we have the same name. But no, it's a fine, cute little show. I just don't get into it.
Monster Society, thank you for the $5 super chat. They're releasing the movie Rust despite Alec Baldwin and the onset tragedy. It's got a trailer and everything. What do you think, if anything?
I haven't seen it. I don't know. Unless I hear good things about it, honestly, I don't know if I'll check it out.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. I had fatigue over the summer and rip Aaron Carter I just found out a while ago.
Yeah, no, that sucks.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. And Dinosaurs, what do you think of Earl's boss, Mr. Richfield? He's one of my favorite sitcom bosses.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. And just the way, I mean, that's a great puppet for that. Just talking like this because he's always yelling. So, I mean, that's a perfect one to have that kind of puppet.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of Disney Plus so far? With Disney Plus now offering Max as a bundle, why doesn't Disney just have a Max app in its service like Hulu?
Why doesn't Disney just take over the world at this point?
Joel, thank you for the 500 bits. In The Mask, what do you think of Milo? Probably the best dog in movie history.
Yeah, he's pretty good. That was a pretty well-trained dog. Had a lot of personality.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Have you seen the second Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon?
No, I saw the first one. I haven't seen the second one. I'll try to check it out at some point.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Would you ever do an NC on Mac and Me?
It's one of those where people have talked about it so much and made so many jokes. I don't think I'll be able to bring anything that new to it, so probably not. It's kind of like doing Troll 2.
Miku, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your honest thoughts on Doug the cartoon series, considering that your name is Doug?
It's a cute little harmless cartoon. I just have no interest in it. It's just nothing that interesting happens in it. The funniest one I remember was the ice cream plant. It's gonna go into a fan and he says, it's gonna go into a fan. What are we doing? He goes, why don't you let it hit the fan? That's brilliant. So, I thought that was a pretty funny workaround.
This chick, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you ever watched the 1969 Dark Shadows? I'm a big fan of Lara Parker. Any thoughts? It's a show that aired a new episode every day, and it shows.
I've only seen bits and pieces. It doesn't look like my thing. It looks better than the movie.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Have a cookie.
Have a cookie.
Haunted Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. How many times a stream do you average saying, I'll check it out? Also, favorite John Williams theme.
I mean, a lot of people ask me to check stuff out, so I do my best. And John Williams theme, maybe the Hook theme. I like the da 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 da.
Back to the Zach, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thanks for all the content over the years, Doug. Been watching your stuff since my early teens, and I'm still watching in my mid-20s. Keep doing you, bro.
Thank you so much. You know what? I'm going to change my answer. Actually, Harry Potter. I know I don't get into those movies much, but I love that theme. That do. That's a great mysterious theme.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. For this year's Disney December, are you reviewing the Blue Sky film Epic?
I think I have it on the list, yeah.
Retro Schmo, thank you for the $10 super chat. Who's your favorite character in Beavis and Butthead besides the title duo? I think the biggest mystique in the show is how we never see their guardians and none of the characters mention them.
I kind of like the hippie teacher. He was pretty fun. I've had teachers like that before.
Brady, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather, who's your favorite Digimon character and who was your most hated character? I haven't watched Digimon in a while, but I think maybe my favorite growing up was Mimi and I hated Izzy. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. How would you like to see Disney Plus improve?
I personally like it when it's just Disney. They don't combine it with Hulu, but I get why other people like that. It just gets a little too cluttered for me. Like, oh, Disney Plus, I want to watch Disney. You know what I mean? But I think I'm alone on that.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits and Inside Out 2. What do you think of the scene where anger inspires joy? I love the way Lewis Black said the line, "We're right behind you."
Yeah, I like joy can get angry, anger can get positive. I like there's emotions within emotions. I thought that was very clever.
Nate, thank you for the $5 super chat. Do you ever want a movie to top Garbage Pail Kids as the worst movie, or are you scared of that possibility?
There's Rob always puts it best. He's like, there's like an honor to having that be the worst. You know, there's just something that feels right about it. I'm not saying a worse one won't come along, but it just feels right to have that be the worst.
Nate, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, who is better at the role of government official who toes the line between good and evil? Cecil from Invincible or Amanda Waller from DC Comics?
When Amanda Waller is written well, I think that's a better character. But so many times she makes so many choices where it's like, that doesn't make sense. But like, she always acts it really cool. It has like the cool look and everything.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. What original fairy tale ending were you shocked it went dark as it is? While we all know the ending of Pinocchio becoming a real boy, I was shocked that the original plan for the book had Pinocchio hung to death and stayed as a wooden boy.
That's true. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know if this counts, but if you read the original Jungle Book, the epilogue actually has him going back to the jungle and gets all his animal friends to go and destroy the village. That's
Oh,
the extended
really?
ending. Yeah, that's like the extent. But so you can kind of choose your own ending.
Huh. Nathan, thank you for the $10 super chat. What are your thoughts on The Producers remake? It's one of those movies I have a stupid soft spot for.
I get that. I don't like. I'm sure it's a wonderful stage show. As a movie, I don't think it quite worked, but I don't hate it.
Nate, thank you for the $5 super chat. You know this movie is inevitable. When will Little Nicky finally get its NC review?
Maybe sooner than later. It's not a bad idea.
Nate, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, you said Over the Hedge was a movie that had an amazing cast, but the movie was a snooze fest. Will it ever get a proper NC?
Write that down too.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Yeah, Mowgli should not have ended up with Girl at the end of the original.
Oh, I don't mind. For that film, no, that makes sense. That's totally the right route to go. But, in the original, but that's what I like about the original story. You have him going to the village, that's one ending. And then just if you want to keep reading, because there's a bunch of different stories in there, you can see what happens after that. So it's kind of up to you.
We did it.
Yay! Nicely done.
Oh my gosh, we did it, even with the distractions and the children. All right. July Media over on YouTube asks, do you think the Guardians of the Galaxy will be involved in Avengers Secret War?
Probably, because half of them are CG anyway, so it's pretty easy to do. You just have to pay, Chris Pratt?
Master Mario says, I'm glad you liked, over on Twitch, sorry. I'm glad you liked my April Fool's video on you. If you do retire, I'm right here. Also, have you ever seen the movie Amber Story? It's about the real-life abduction of Amber Hagerman that led to the Amber Alert.
No. I never knew that's where it came from, where that term came from. All right, I'll have to check that out.
Brady, thank you for the $10 super chat. Here's $10. Go buy a copy of The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
I'll try to check it out. I've heard it's pretty good. And I already know how it ends.
Logan the Hedgie on YouTube says, when is Sonic movie month?
When all the Sonic movies are out. They're still making them.
Lord R. Wolfen over on Twitch says, hello, King Heather and Queen Doug. I want to know if you ever read the Avatar books, most notably Rise of Kyoshi. If you haven't, I recommend reading it. There are some moments that are brutal.
I didn't read that one. I've read the comic books, the ones that show what happened to Zuko's mom and stuff like that. Those are really cool. But no, I haven't read that one.
Nate, thank you for the $5 super chat. Ever going to give The Chronicles of Narnia a full review? It turns 20 this year.
So that one I did have down.
Things.
That one I did have down already. I was originally gonna do it for when we go into transition to the next, studio, which is the one we have now, but just time didn't sync up. So I'm like, okay, well, I gotta get to that at some point. So probably this year.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Cobb was so dumb. He could have brainwashed Mowgli into thinking he was king of the jungle.
Stupid.
All right, well, I guess that's what we're going to end on here. Well, wait, Nate, thank you for the $5 super chat. Came in last minute here. Arguably, Nicolas Cage's best movie was Knowing. It's depressing and emotional.
I've never seen it. I'll try to check it out.
All right. Okay, sorry, I accidentally kicked my PC. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to wrap things up here. Really appreciate you. I hope you all have a good night. We do have content here 5 days a week over on Twitch. Malcolm will be on tomorrow. Doug's gonna start in case I don't think we made the official announcement.
Yeah, I guess we did. We should here, shouldn't we?
Yeah, Doug is starting Resident Evil 2 on Friday.
I've never played a Resident Evil game.
I'm so excited for you, Doug. Again, I don't want to hype it up too much, but I think you're going to be a fan of the Resident Evil franchise.
I'm very excited.
I think you're going to have a good time. I know some people were like, oh, you should just start with Resident Evil 1, but I think RE2 with the remake is going to be a good place for you to start.
I was going to say, I played the original on PlayStation. I think we did like James and Mike plays, or not James and Doug. I don't know. I think it was still called James and Mike, but we tried playing it, and it was just, I'm pretty sure it was Resident Evil 1. It was just unplayable. We couldn't get anywhere. So I'm more excited to play one that's, playable.
Yeah, it'll be great. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. We couldn't do these streams without you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you all later. Bye.
Bye.